Alison, what was your reaction when you heard you'd got Patchwork Newcomer of the Year?
I'm very surprised and delighted, really, because I've been an MP 3 years now, and I thought I was beyond becoming a newcomer now. But it's really, really nice to be honoured by such a great organisation, and Patchwork are lovely, and it's wonderful to be thought of as part of this.
What do you think was the special thing that you were doing for disadvantaged or ethnic minorities in your community that helped you get this award?
Well, I'm very keen to stand up for people in my constituency and to be their voice in Parliament as much as I possibly can do. So when people come to my surgeries with issues around immigration or asylum or the kind of process where they don't have, for example, recourse to public funds and the impact that that has on them, I always feel that I've got a duty to speak up and defend their interests.
And in any constituency, you have a wide range of people. How are you able to give the right amount of priority to the lesser advantaged people?
Well, I feel that my primary role as an MP is to be there for my constituents. So what I try to do is have surgeries as often as I can and spend as much time as I possibly can in Glasgow rather than down here in London. So I have 2 surgeries a week in different parts of the constituency and make them as open as possible and advertise them widely so that people can always come to me with issues that they need help with.
And do you feel that you successfully tackle those issues, or is there are there sometimes some problems that are so intractable that you just can't sort them out?
Well, there are some issues, I suppose, that are issues of policy from the government, and it can be very difficult to change those things when you come up against them. But I feel very strongly that if I can change things for individual constituents, then that's me doing my job and doing my very best for them. So I will always try to get the very best outcome for my constituents, and will work very, very hard to try and do that and to raise their cases on the floor of the House. And the ideal scenario, I suppose, for me is if somebody comes to see me at surgery on a Friday, if I can raise that in the House of Commons by the next week, that's making sure that their voice is heard and that their issues are getting the attention they deserve.
And you're getting good reaction from people on the ground for what you're doing on this front, presumably?
I seem to be, yes, I seem to be. And certainly it was quite heartening, I suppose, when we came to the elections last year, that lots of people were quite grateful and said that they were voting for me because they knew that I would help. So that's, again, very much what I aim to do as a constituency MP.
What message would you give to someone who is perhaps feeling that life isn't treating them particularly well? They maybe come from a desperately difficult background and they're almost on the edge of giving up hope. What would you say to them?
I would say to them to look for help and support, and to look for help and support from people in your community. So whether that's a local councillor, a member of the Scottish Parliament in Scotland, or an MP, we're here to help you, we're here to support you. And any politician worth their salt should be doing that. So if people need help or support, to know that we can come there for them. And I know that for many communities where perhaps they've not been familiar with going to speak to a politician, or where they haven't come perhaps from originally from a country that you can't do that, that we are there, and that's very much part of our job.
Are you seeing signs that disadvantaged young people from different communities are starting to work together, to live together, perhaps more effectively than they have in the past?
I think so, and it's not been a particular difficulty, I would say, in Glasgow. And Glasgow's been very, very keen to welcome people from all over the world and to integrate them as best we can do within our communities. And particularly I would pay tribute to lots of the schools in my constituency. So schools like Shields Primary or Annette Street Primary work very, very hard to make sure that the families and the children are all brought in together, that they work hard as a community, and that they get to know one another well as well. So it's not as if the families end up feeling apart from one another, that the school is a good way of unifying the community and bringing people together.
And do you think we are changing as a community, that in your constituency the community is changing, people are becoming more tolerant, more accepting of people with a different point of view? I
think there's always a challenge, and you can't be complacent about that at any time. Building communities takes constant work because people move in and they move out, and things change. But I think there's definitely huge positives in Glasgow in the way the community works together.
And the contribution that Patchwork makes in linking MPs like you with the less advantaged in society.
Absolutely, and for many people, and myself included, I suppose, growing up, this didn't ever seem like a place that was for me. And I'd never set foot in Parliament until I was elected, because I just didn't think it was something that, somewhere I could go, something that was for me. And I suppose my message to young people right across the country is this is where you need to be and where you ought to be, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Alison, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.